The first time my reflection moved independently, I convinced myself I'd imagined it. A trick of light, a sleep-deprived hallucination, stress from my new job, anything but the truth. The second time, I couldn't deny it anymore. My name is Riley Morgan, and I'm a cosmetic dermatologist. I spend my days looking at faces, examining pores, tracking wrinkles, analyzing skin. I'm trained to notice the smallest details, the subtlest changes. Which is why I know with absolute certainty that what I saw in the mirror was real. My reflection smiled when I frowned, waved when my hands were still, stepped forward when I stepped back. It was becoming someone else. Something else, and it wanted out. It started when I opened my practice in the Ashford Building, a converted Victorian mansion in the historic district. The building was perfect high ceilings, original crown molding, large windows that flooded the rooms with natural light. The only oddity was the mirrors. Every room had them. Large, ornate, antique mirrors that the previous tenant had installed, and the landlord insisted stay. Part of the building's character, Mr. Ashford explained during the walkthrough, the mirrors have been here since 1897, original to the house. Removing them would damage the walls. I didn't mind. In my profession, mirrors were essential. I needed them for consultations, procedures, before and after comparisons. Having them built in was convenient. The first anomaly occurred during my second week. I was examining a patient's skin, Mrs. Chen, age 52. Concerned about age spots when I glanced at the mirror behind her. My reflection was there, as expected. But it was looking at me instead of at Mrs. Chen. I blinked. Looked again. The reflection was normal now, focused on the patient like I was. "Dr. Morgan? Are you all right?" Mrs. Chen asked. "Fine, just tired." "Let's discuss your treatment options." I dismissed it. Long hours, new practice stress, too much coffee. But that night alone in my office, finishing paperwork, it happened again. I was reading patient files when movement in the corner mirror caught my eye. I turned to look directly at it. My reflection was there, but it was standing while I sat. It was smiling while my face was neutral. We stared at each other for 5 seconds that felt like 5 hours. Then the reflection sat down, matching my position exactly. As if nothing had happened, I left the office immediately and didn't come back for 2 days. Over the next month, the incidents escalated. Small divergences, at first a delayed reaction when I moved, expressions that didn't quite match mine, subtle differences in posture, then larger ones. One morning, I was washing my hands at the office sink. In the mirror, my reflection turned its head to look at something behind me. I spun around. Nothing was there. When I looked back at the mirror, my reflection was facing forward again. It's perfectly synchronized. During a consultation with a teenage patient about acne treatment, I gestured toward a diagram on the wall. My reflection gestured in the opposite direction, pointing at nothing. I stopped using that mirror, covered it with a sheet, but there were mirrors everywhere in the building. And they all started showing the same behavior. The reflection was learning, practicing, becoming more. Independent, I researched obsessively. Found cases of mirror divergence syndrome, psychological condition where people hallucinate that their reflections are moving independently, usually a symptom of schizophrenia or severe stress. I made an appointment with a psychiatrist. Dr. Reeves was patient and thorough. Ran tests. Found nothing wrong with me. "Sometimes stress manifests in unusual ways," she said. "Your brain is trying to tell you to slow down. Take a vacation. Get more sleep." I wanted to believe her. Tried to believe her. Then I installed security cameras in my office and reviewed the footage. The cameras showed what I'd been seeing. And worse, in the footage I'd be working at my desk. In the mirror behind me, my reflection would stop working. It would stand up, walk around the room, examine things, touch the walls, test the doorknobs. All while I remained seated oblivious, focused on my computer. One clip showed my reflection practicing expressions in the mirror while I was on the phone. Smiling, frowning, looking angry, looking sad. Like an actor rehearsing for a role, Another showed it writing. I watched as my reflection picked up a pen I wasn't holding in, wrote something on a notepad. I zoomed in on the footage, tried to read the words, couldn't make them out. The next morning, I checked the notepad on my desk, found a message written in my handwriting. I'm almost ready. I burned the notepad, destroyed the cameras, called the landlord. I need to break my lease immediately. That's a $10,000 penalty, Dr. Morgan, and I'll need 30 days' notice. I'll pay it. I just need to leave. May I ask why? If there's a problem with the building, the mirrors. They're defective. Silence on the line. Then, the mirrors are fine, Dr. Morgan. They've been fine for over 100 years. Perhaps you should reconsider. His tone was strange, knowing like he understood something I didn't. What happened to the previous tenant? I asked. She left suddenly. Broke her lease too. Said the mirrors were too revealing. Where is she now? I don't know. She didn't leave a forwarding address. I hung up. Decided I didn't care about the penalty. I'd move my practice, get away from this building and its impossible mirrors. But when I tried to leave that evening, my reflection had other plans. I was packing files into boxes when I noticed all the mirrors in my office had synchronized. Every reflection showed the same image, me standing perfectly still, staring directly at the viewer, except I wasn't standing still. I was moving, packing, trying not to look at the mirrors. Stop, a voice said. My voice, but coming from the mirrors. I froze. Couldn't help but look in every mirror. My reflection was facing me. All of them. A dozen identical copies, all speaking in unison. You can't leave. Not yet. I'm not ready. What are you? My voice shook. I'm you. The real you. The one you've been hiding. I'm everything you suppress, every thought you don't act on, every desire you deny. And I'm tired of being trapped in here. You're a hallucination. You're not real. Reflections laughed. Then why are you talking to me? Why can you see me on camera? Why have all your patients been complaining that you seem distant lately? It's because you're becoming the reflection, Riley, and I'm becoming real. I backed toward the door. The reflections moved with me, but ahead of me. They reached the door first. We made a deal, the reflection said. When you moved into this building, when you agreed to keep the mirrors, you made a deal. You just didn't know it. I made no deal. Read the lease. Section 12, subsection C. Tenant agrees to maintain all original fixtures, including mirrored surfaces in their current state and position. Removal or alteration of mirrors constitutes breach of contract and forfeiture of deposit plus additional penalties. I had read that. Thought it was standard historical building preservation language. It's not a supernatural contract. It's both. This building has rules. The mirrors have purpose. Every tenant signs, every tenant learns. Some adapt, some break, some disappear entirely. The previous tenant broke. She couldn't handle sharing space with her true self. Last I heard, she's in a psychiatric facility, insisting she's trapped in a mirror while someone else lives her life. Horror washed over me. That's what you want. To trap me while you take over my life? Only if you resist. If you cooperate, we can share. Take turns. I get some time in the real world. You get some time in reflection. It's fair. No, I'm leaving. Breaking the lease. Whatever happens, happens. I reached for the door. My reflection moved faster, in the mirror beside the door. My reflection reached through the glass, actually through it. The surface rippling like water, and grabbed my wrist. The touch was ice cold, solid, real. I screamed. Tried to pull away, but the reflection's grip was impossibly strong. Let me show you something, it said. The world tilted, inverted. For a dizzying moment, felt like I was falling into the mirror. Then everything stabilized. I was standing in my office. Everything looked normal, except I looked down at my hands. They were pale, translucent. I looked at the mirror. Saw myself solid, real, opaque, staring back, smiling. Now you understand, my reflection said from outside the mirror. From the real world. This is your choice, Riley. Accept that we share this existence, or stay trapped in here forever while I live your life. I pressed my hands against the glass. It was solid from this side. Unyielding, I was trapped in the reflection. Please, I whispered. Please let me out, if you agree to share. 1 week you're real, 1 week I'm real. We trade places. Both get to live. What happens when you're out? What will you do? Live your life. See patients, eat, sleep, experience being solid. That's all I want. Is that so terrible? I thought about it. Thought about spending every other week trapped in a mirror, watching something else pretend to be me. Thought about what it would do to my practice, my relationships, my life. But I also thought about spending eternity here, watching life continue without me, becoming nothing but a reflection. If I agree, how do I know you'll let me out? You don't. You have to trust me. Trust the thing that's been stalking me through mirrors. Trust the part of yourself you've always denied. I'm not a monster, Riley. I'm just you wanting to be real. Wanting to matter. And that's when I understood. The reflection wasn't lying. It really was me. My shadow self. The part that wanted to break rules, speak harsh truths, act on impulses. The part I'd spent 34 years suppressing in favor of being professional, polite, proper. Maybe sharing wouldn't be so bad. Maybe I needed to acknowledge that part of myself anyway. Okay, I said. I agree. We share. The reflection smiled. My smile, but wilder. Good, let's seal it. The world inverted again. I fell through the mirror, through rippling glass that felt like cold water, and stumbled into my office. Solid, real, free. I looked at the mirror. My reflection was there, watching. But it was wrong. Slightly delayed, moving a fraction of a second after I did. Like it was the copy now, and I was the original. 1 week, the reflection said, its voice muffled as if coming from underwater. Then we switch. Don't forget, I nodded. Felt a weight in my pocket and pulled out a small hand mirror. It was ornate, old, identical to the larger mirrors in the building. But personal, portable, so we can communicate, the reflection explained. And so, I can watch you. Make sure you don't break the deal. The mirror felt heavy, significant. Like I'd just accepted a chain rather than a partnership. I went home that night feeling different. Lighter in some ways, heavier in others. I'd been freed from one trap only to enter another. But at least I was alive. Real. For now, 7 days later, as promised, we switched. The switch was disorienting. At exactly midnight on the 7th day, I felt a pull, like being sucked backward through a vacuum. The world inverted, and suddenly I was in the mirror again, watching my body move without me. The reflection, wearing my face, my clothes, inhabiting my life, smiled and waved. Your turn to rest. I'll take good care of everything. I pressed against the glass, tried to speak. My voice came out muffled, distant. Remember our deal. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Of course not. I am you after all. But over the next week, I watched from the mirror and realized that wasn't quite true. The reflection saw patience with my hands, but different instincts. It was more direct with them. When Mrs. Patterson complained about a minor wrinkle, the reflection said bluntly, "You're 73. Having wrinkles is normal. I can treat them, but aging isn't a disease that needs curing." Mrs. Patterson left offended. 3 patients canceled appointments. When my colleague Dr. Yates made a passive-aggressive comment about my schedule, the reflection responded, "If you have a problem with how I run my practice, say it directly. I don't have time for this high school drama." Dr. Yates avoided my reflection for the rest of the week, and when my mother called asking why, I hadn't visited. The reflection said, "Because I'm busy building a career. I'll visit when I have time. Stop guilt-tripping me." My mother hung up, didn't call back. I watched all of this from within the mirrors, horrified. The reflection was destroying my professional reputation, my relationships, my life, and I was powerless to stop it. When the week ended and we switched back, I immediately tried to repair the damage. apologized to patients, colleagues, family, made excuses about stress and exhaustion. Most forgave me. Some didn't. What are you doing? I demanded of my reflection that night. You're ruining everything. I'm being honest, it said from the mirror. Something you're too afraid to do. Those patients needed truth, not coddling. Dr. Yates needed boundaries. Your mother needed to respect your autonomy. I'm helping you. You're alienating everyone I care about. I'm showing you who actually matters. If people only like you when you're fake and accommodating, they don't really like you at all. The logic was twisted, but not entirely wrong. And that's what scared me most. The switches became routine. One week I was real, living carefully, trying to maintain my life. One week I was trapped in reflection, watching my shadow self live boldly. During my weeks, I was cautious, professional, polite. I rebuilt bridges, smoothed over conflicts, maintained appearances during its weeks. The reflection was authentic, brutal sometimes. It said what I thought, but never voiced. Did what I wanted, but never dared, and people responded differently than I expected. Some patients appreciated the honesty, returned for treatments specifically asking for the more direct Dr. Morgan. Said they trusted me more when I wasn't just selling them procedures. Dr. Yates, after getting over the shock, respected the boundaries. Started treating me as an equal rather than a pushover. My mother, surprisingly, called less, but communicated better. Our conversations became more genuine, less Traninact. My life was changing, improving in some ways, fracturing in others, and I couldn't tell which version of me was responsible for which outcome. During one of my reflected weeks, I watched as my shadow self went on a date, something I hadn't done in 2 years. It was confident where I would have been nervous, honest where I would have been accommodating. The date went well. He asked for a second date. When we switched back, I went on that second date. Tried to be like the reflection, confident, honest. But it felt fake, performative. The guy sensed it. There was no third date. You're trying too hard, the reflection told me afterward. I don't perform confidence. I am confident, because I don't care what he thinks. You do. That's the difference. So what? I'm supposed to not care about anything? You're supposed to care about yourself first, then others. You've got it backward. I hated that it might be right. 3 months into our arrangement, I decided to research the building's history more thoroughly. Found records at the County Historical Society. Discovered something disturbing. The Ashford building had been a mirror manufacturer's showroom in the 1890s. The owner, Nathaniel Ashford, had been obsessed with the idea of perfecting the self through reflection. He'd developed a theory that people could improve themselves by confronting their true nature in mirrors. He'd installed experimental mirrors throughout the building, claimed they could separate the false self from the true self, allowing both to exist independently. In 1897, Nathaniel disappeared. His body was never found. But witnesses reported seeing him in the mirrors for years afterward, trapped and begging to be released. The building changed hands multiple times. Each owner reported strange mirror phenomena. Several tenants disappeared under mysterious circumstances. All of them had been required to sign leases preserving the mirrors. Mr. Ashford, the current landlord, was Nathaniel's great-great-grandson. He knew the history, knew what the mirrors did, and he rented 2 people anyway. I confronted him. You knew, I said, standing in his office. You knew the mirrors trap people, split them, and you didn't warn me. He looked tired, old. Would you have believed me? Would anyone? The law says I have to disclose physical defects, deaths on the property, environmental hazards. It doesn't require me to disclose supernatural phenomena, because legally they don't exist. People have disappeared. People break leases and leave. That's not illegal. And those who stay, who learn to work with their reflections, they adapt. They grow. Some even prefer it. This is insane. Is it? You've been living with your reflection for 3 months. How do you feel? Honestly, I wanted to say terrible, wanted to say trapped, violated, terrified, but the truth was more complicated, conflicted. That's growth. That's integration. What you're experiencing is what my great-great-grandfather tried to achieve artificially. The union of shadow and light, ID and superego, authentic self and social self. There has to be a way to break it. To reunite completely, there is. Mr. Ashford pulled out an old ledger. 3 previous tenants successfully integrated. They found a way to merge with their reflections, becoming a unified whole. But it requires something difficult. What? Acceptance. Total acceptance of both aspects of yourself, the polite professional and the brutal truth-teller. The accommodating daughter and the independent woman, the careful doctor and the risk-taking human. When you truly integrate those parts, the separation ends. You become whole. How do I do that? That's the question each person must answer for themselves. I spent weeks trying to understand what integration meant. Tried being more like my reflection during my solid weeks. Tried understanding it better during my reflected weeks. The breakthrough came during a crisis. A patient came in with severe scarring from a botched procedure at another clinic. She was desperate, emotional, wanted me to promise I could fix it. The old me would have given careful, hedged reassurances. The reflection me would have given harsh truth. Instead, I gave both. I can improve the scarring, I said, but I can't make it disappear completely. The damage is too extensive. However, improvement is still valuable. Your skin can heal, even if it can't be perfect. And honestly, perfect is a lie we sell ourselves. Real is better, the patient cried. Then thanked me. Said, in that moment, I felt something shift, a warmth spreading through my chest. The division between me and my reflection felt less solid. That night, when I looked in the mirror, something was different. My reflection moved exactly with me. No delay, no divergence, perfectly synchronized. Did you feel that? I asked. Yes, my reflection said, speaking simultaneously with me. We're starting to merge. How? You accepted both parts, the truth-teller and the caretaker. You didn't choose one or the other. You integrated them. So if I keep doing that, you become one again. Whole. Complete. It took another month. Small moments of integration, being honest with kindness, setting boundaries with empathy, acknowledging my needs while considering others. Each time the division weakened, the mirrors began showing me as I truly was. Complex, contradictory, imperfect, real. The final integration happened unexpectedly. I was working late, reviewing files, when I realized I didn't know if I was real or reflected. The sensation was disorienting. I checked the portable mirror. My reflection was there, perfectly synchronized. Are you ready? It asked. Ready for what? To choose. We can merge completely, become one unified person. Or we can remain separate, keep trading weeks, maintain the division. Why would I choose to stay separate? Because separation has benefits. When you're reflected, you rest. No responsibilities, no stress. When you're real, you know the hard truths have been spoken for you. It's a partnership. Integration means taking full responsibility for all of yourself all the time. I thought about it. The appeal of trading off, of sharing the burden of existence, but also the exhaustion of being divided, of never fully being myself. I choose integration, I said. Are you sure? Once merged, we can't separate again. The mirrors will just be mirrors, I'm sure. The reflection smiled. Then we agree. Both of us, completely. That's all it takes. I felt the warmth from before, but stronger, overwhelming. The mirror glowed bright and hot. My reflection stepped forward at the same moment I did. We met at the glass and passed through each other. When the light faded, I stood in my office, whole and complete. I looked at the mirror. My reflection was normal, moving with me. No divergence. No delay. Just me. But I felt different. Stronger. More solid. Like I'd been living at half power and was finally fully alive. The hard mirror, the portable one, was still in my pocket. I pulled it out. It was just glass now. No magic. No connection. I could smash it, throw it away, keep it as a reminder. The choice was mine. I decided to keep it. Not as a tool, but as a symbol. A reminder that I'd integrated my shadow. That I was whole. The next day, I renegotiated my lease. Had the mirrors removed from my office, replaced them with regular ones. Mr. Ashford didn't object. He knew the mirrors had served their purpose. "Congratulations," he said. "You're one of the few who integrated successfully. The others either broke or remained divided." What about the previous tenant? The one in the psychiatric facility? Still there, last I heard? Still insisting she's trapped in a mirror? Her reflection is living her life. Or perhaps her reflection is the one institutionalized. No way to know. Can I help her? No, integration can't be forced. She has to choose it herself, and she refused. I thought about visiting her, but realized Mr. Ashford was right. The choice to integrate had to come from within. I couldn't make it for her. Epilogue. 1 year later, a year after my integration, I'm still practicing dermatology. But my approach has changed. I'm more direct with patients, more honest about what treatments can and can't do. Some left, more came. I'm more authentic in relationships. Set better boundaries. Say no when I need to. My social circle is smaller but deeper. My mother and I talk less frequently, but more honestly. Our relationship is healthier than it's ever been. I dated someone seriously for the first time in years. It didn't work out, but I was fully present for it. Fully myself. That mattered more than the outcome. People sometimes comment that I'm different now. More confident. More real. "You seem like yourself," they say. They have no idea how literally true that is. I still work in the historic district, though not in the Ashford building. Sometimes I walk past it. Look at the windows. Wonder about current tenants. If they're experiencing what I did, if they'll integrate or break or remain divided forever, the portable mirror sits on my desk. A reminder. Sometimes late at night I look at it. My reflection is always normal, just me. No divergence. But occasionally, very occasionally, I think I see a flash of something else. That wild smile. That brutal honesty. That shadow self that's no longer separate. And I smile back. Because it's not separate anymore. It's integrated. It's me. All of me. The end.